Transition awareness breathing. Feeling grounded for both children and parents is essential for healthy living and learning. Join Eartha Powell on this series for tips and tools for creating a harmonious environment for learning. Transition awareness breathing will help you and your child find an individualized path to tackle change, promote lifelong learning, and discover new approaches to calmness.
Wow, the winter months are here. We are in the midst of a cleansing winter, it seems. The days are shorter, and, it just seems like daylight goes by really fast. So, before it goes by too much faster, I want to talk to you today about laughter. We use a lot of laughter in transition awareness breathing classes with my students. Now, don't get me wrong. The laughter I'm speaking about is not foolish laughter where people are just ultimately silly and we can't get anything done. No, not that kind of laughter. What I'm talking about is a joy in not only appreciating what is around us, but also learning that, did you know we're not perfect? And then sometimes when we're not perfect and we realize it, it's okay to laugh at ourselves. A deep belly laugh, every so often about ourselves, can really have a cleansing effect mentally and physically. Engaging people who are in pain or a chronic state of illnesses often are, and you have to be careful with this because not everyone appreciates different types of laughter. But research has shown that it can help relieve painful and discomfort laughter. A study done in 2016 from Georgia State showed how when they incorporated laughter into their physical exercise, they saw an improvement in the adults' mental health, their aerobic endurance, and their levels of confidence. Laughter can be a very, very strategic and helpful tool. So that's what we're going to kind of explore a little bit today. Now, laughter, just for the sake of just laughing, is probably not going to be too helpful. But laughter, when you realize something that you did is totally ridiculous. And usually when we get those types of feelings that we've done something totally ridiculous, what is our first reaction? Embarrassment. Your face feels kind of warm. You wish you can kind of hide under a rock. My favorite saying is when I get embarrassed, there's just no place to hide, it just seemed. And yet, that embarrassment, if you kind of step back out of it a little bit, could be a source, when you look back on it, of laughter. Oftentimes we just do things and, we're not perfect, but things happen. Life happens. I'd like to share with you an example. This is just a small example. Just a small example. I mean, it's so small you probably wouldn't even think it's an example actually, but to me it's an example. So today, my daughter asked, "Mommy, can I paint your fingernails?" Now, I am not a fancy person, and I really, really don't care to have my fingernails painted. That's just not me. But I saw a gift. Not the gift in the store. I mean, I could tell from her voice, and I could tell from the excitement in her face that if I said, "No, you can't you can't paint my fingernails," that she would have been kind of disappointed. And with all of our social restrictions, I figured, okay, you can paint my fingernails. It'll be fun. And so she had so much fun. We went to the store, and she picked out her fingernail polish, and she asked, what kind of fingernail polish do you want? Well, they all look the same to me. It's like, I don't really care. But, I said, I better care because it's going to be on my fingernails for at least a little bit. So I picked a color. It's, I thought it was pretty complimentary to my complexion. Later she said that she would have picked something different, but it's okay. So while she is, we get home and she's painting my fingernails, she did the right hand, and then she started with the left hand, and I just kept moving, and I kept messing up and smearing my thumb. It took almost like 4 tries, and she just gave me the look, and I thought it was so funny. I laughed so hard because in my mind I knew I was not moving on purpose. I was just trying to move my hands away so I could let my fingernails dry. And it seemed the more I tried to move my hands so that they wouldn't smudge, it seemed the more I would smudge my fingernails. And she was so patient. And I wondered, am I that patient when they make a mistake? And I laugh because sometimes I am not. I admit I am working on my patience when it comes to having to repeat myself several times. And so I laughed because I admired how she handled me in me smudging my fingernails. And this is a little thing. I told you it was little. So I warned you. But I just laughed. It was so funny. It wasn't anything big. It was small. But at that moment, I was a little embarrassed because I knew this was something that she really wanted to do. She was working very hard. So taking time out and these things, these small things, if we looked at ourselves from the outside, and I guess that's one perspective, to look and not take ourselves so entirely seriously. Sometimes laughter provides a means of relaxation that even mindfulness relaxation cannot touch. So sometimes when we're going about our day, take time and take a breath and realize that if I come across a situation that's embarrassing, let me step out of myself and not take myself so serious. Because I think we are very critical of ourselves. And when we're so critical of ourselves, we begin to think very negative of ourselves. Instead of saying, oh, I move my fingers again, sorry, instead of just laughing at that, I could have, went on a negative way of approaching and said, well, I didn't want to get my fingernails done, or this is I'm sitting still too long, or instead, find the positive. Find the joy in that situation. And it was just a wonderful time that I spent with my daughter doing something that she wanted to do. And that gift you cannot find in the store. It will never be on the shelf. It is not part of our economic system. The gift of spending time with someone you love and laughing, that deep, deep laughter. A long time ago, when I was, maybe about 9 or 10, I like to share a story. I had an aunt, and she was a nurse, and she had the best sense of humor. She would really brighten up. We always looked forward to visiting this particular aunt. Well, as life would have it, she came down with a very serious illness. And, I was young and I really didn't know how serious the illness was. I didn't really have an understanding of that. But my parents would, kind of talk to my brother and I. Now, when we go over to, your aunt's house, don't make too much noise, and we're not going to stay too long because we don't want to tire her out, and this long litany of what we're going to do and what we're not going to do. And so by the time we got there, I just didn't know what to do. I just stood there, and she was so relaxed. And one time she was reading something, and she says, "Oh, I want to show you something, Eartha. I got to find my glasses." And she was looking and searching, and her glasses, she says, "I just can't find my glasses." Well, her glasses were on top of her head, and I didn't know what to say. I thought, she knows her glasses are on top of her head, right? But I didn't want to upset her. And so finally she realized, oh, here's my glasses. And she just laughed. And when she laughed, I laughed. And we just had a good time laughing. Isn't it something how someone who had such a serious illness could laugh? And I think that the visit, when we went there and spent some time with her, helped her relieve a lot of serious thoughts that she knew she would have to face, and it gave her a break. And we never laughed at anyone, but it was about ourselves. And so laughter can be so therapeutic when used in the right way. I'm not a kind of person, I don't tell jokes because I don't know any jokes, but I really admire people who can start off a class or can tell a teaching or something and put a joke in the midst of the class or at the beginning of the class, because it helps to make a point of relaxation so that the mind can kind of absorb what's going on. The joke, the laughter. And so, as we enter this holiday season, oftentimes, during the holidays, or especially this year, many people have lost loved ones and friends. And so it's the first year without that loved one. And it's so hard. And I just want to encourage you to take just 1 second at a time and concentrate and reminisce of the memories you had with your loved one. And it's okay to laugh. It's okay to smile, because that is the gift that your loved one left with you, and no one ever can take it away. You will not find it in the stores. You can't find it at a Black Friday sale. That memory is precious to you, and you will always have it, and it will always be close to you. Enjoy your gift and take time to smile. Thank you for joining me in Transition Awareness Breathing Podcast. I look forward to talking to you next time. Have a great day.
Be sure and pick up a copy of Eartha's new book, Tab Mindfulness, Awareness and Coloring Activities in a Pandemic World. It's not just an ordinary coloring book. It features 23 illustrations to stimulate thought, relaxation, and creativity for anyone between the ages of 4 and 94. Increase your positive self-talk energy. Unlock new creative paths. Transform your time once or twice a week to create beautiful art while strengthening confidence, building positive self-talk, and sensitize self-awareness. Tab Mindfulness, Awareness and Coloring Activities in a Pandemic World. It's available now at Amazon.com.